Thank you for tuning in with What's the Matter Coaching. My name is Oscar.
My name is Crystal.
And today we're going to be speaking in regards to knowing yourself beyond the conventional.
Yes, guys. So today's subject is about answering the question who you are without name or job position or any other label that people put after that phrase. I'm going to ask you today who you are.
So when you ask me, who am I? The first thing I would say is, I am. And I am would equate to awareness, okay? That which is before any labels, any attachments, any identifications. So we can go back and we can refer to it as the baby state, okay? What a baby is. The baby is the witness. When you are first born, you have no labels or attachments. You don't know yourself to be anything. You just are, right?
Yeah, that's why I believe that babies are so pure. That's why you can see the pureness in a baby, because they don't even speak.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just pure awareness. And that's why people lost through time.
How? What happens?
With the belief system.
Okay,
Like
explain a little bit about that. How does that begin to emerge?
So your belief system comes from what your parents,
Okay.
your society tells you to do. Like, for example, you shouldn't do that, or you should go to school, graduate, and then go to college. Who said that?
Mm-hmm.
Who was the first person who said you have to do that?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's the belief system. But
And then constantly, right, you have people telling you that you're this, you're that, you look like this, you dress like that, you have this job, you're representing this idea. But in ultimate reality, you always are, right?
yeah,
So
definitely.
I guess the conversation we're having now is breaking it down again and again in different ways so you can understand and how to connect with that state before person. So you can tap into more of presence, more being, more awareness, and gain your power and happiness from there. And not from the identifications, the attachments, which eventually cause suffering. Can you explain that a little bit?
What exactly you want me to explain?
Suffering,
Suffering.
how that comes from. Tell me your the way when you think, when you experience the world, how does that create, happiness, ups and downs, sometimes you feel good and bad.
So suffering comes from you're attached to something. What is that attachment? When things doesn't go the way they should go, that's when suffering comes. But once you start to accepting every situation, whatever, regardless,
What is? Yes.
Isness. We go back to the same
Principle.
Isness. Just accept it. It doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Yes, it did happen.
But it just is.
It's how you're going to react.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to react in a way that you're going to let the situation to control you, or you're going to control the situation?
And who's being controlled in the situation if you are not that I, right?
Exactly. Like a lot of people, let me put an example, when they're in traffic and someone
Beeps at them.
beeps at them. They're like, oh, you're not, like, what are you doing? They're letting that person to control their happiness, just like that.
But it's because they're getting the happiness from the I, from the person.
Because they say, why she's doing that?
At
She
me.
shouldn't do
She's
it.
beeping at me, at my car,
The ego,
the attachment, right?
the persona.
The persona, right? So, in essence, it's all about just breaking it down so you can find your true state of happiness, your true state of isness and awareness, so that any circumstance you encounter in life after that, you can start to know yourself to be what it really is, instead of what the personality is trying to identify with at all times. Because you can see how the identity wants to keep on coming out, wants to make certain points, wants to talk, but that's just a construct. It's of use to us, right? In this reality, in this time-space reality, we're communicating through that to experience this life we call Earth, right?
To put it more in basic terms that more viewers can understand, the ego or slash personality is more do things around that. It whining, complaining. It has the mentality of winning. I always want to win, complain, feel sad, feel depressed. I can tell you from my own experience that the reason why I decide to change is because I was at a point in my life that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Nothing was working in my life. And I knew that it was nothing outside of myself, that it was something within me. I was like, fuck that. It's not them, it's me. What is happening
So
with
what did
me?
you connect with? You connected with
Source, with myself.
your pure awareness state.
Pure
And
awareness.
from there, you got your true happiness, something that no one can take away from you.
No one can
Yeah.
make you happy.
Nobody. You are that pure peace, that happiness. And so it's all about just reconnecting with that. So it's okay to use, the personality, right? To teach, to do, to experience certain things, to communicate certain ideas. Because right now, Crystal, Oscar. Right now I'm going by Oscar, she's going by Crystal. But we're speaking to you about something that's beyond ourselves. Why? Because we're seeking beyond ourselves. Why? Because we have gone and actually wanted to go in depth
To knowing ourselves.
To know ourselves.
Our true essence.
Our true essence.
And also I want to mention that even for parents, they have the identity that I am a parent, and I have this conversation before with a person, a family member, that she was telling me, oh, but like if my kids are not here, I cannot be happy. Not even your kids, not your husband, not your kids. No one can make you happy except yourself. Happiness is not something that you look outside, it's something that is within you.
And if you think about it, if you just go by the personality day by day and you never connect back to that primordial state of awareness, that primordial state of who you really are, then you're always going to be seeking pleasure or pain, or ending up in states of pleasure, but then going back to pain, because you never connect back to who you really are, which is.
Yep.
Right?
So I think that we can wrap it up now from now, and
Yeah, so let's provide an everyday example. How can they incorporate this? So what I like to say is that just throughout your day, start to less and less identify. Start to surrender those portions of yourself that are always trying to want to
be right.
Want to make a certain point.
It's like it says, like you want to be right or you want to be in control.
Or you want to classify something that's wrong or right. You want to put a label on something instead of just viewing it for what it is.
Yeah.
Okay? Like the wall behind this, that's just a wall. You don't have to go ahead and say like, oh, that wall is ugly, it's terrible. It's just a wall. Because you're acknowledging, and through that state of just awareness, you can see, just like a baby, the wall, and see the wall for what it is instead of
without thoughts. The personality ego comes with thoughts.
Communicates through thoughts. So basically what thought is just your own bias, your own personality filtered constantly through these thoughts.
And let me make an declaration. It's not bad. It's just accept it. It's part of you. But aware that you can control that part of you. Don't let that part of you control you.
And you can finally be in that state of claiming your right, claiming your true self, knowing yourself beyond the conventional, because now your thoughts don't have dominion over you. You are now in control of your own brain, your own thoughts. If you don't want to think something, don't think it. If you want to be happy, you can literally just
choose.
Be and choose it consciously.
That's when free will comes from.
Free wills, yeah.
Choose. You have the right to choose whatever you want. If you want to choose being unhappy, that's your choice. It's neither good or bad. It's just isness. It's just is. It's a choice.
So now, the last thing I want to say in this video is that imagine an entire world that is able to connect back to that primordial state of awareness, to just watch how things are instead of putting labels of what they think is true. Because what they think is true is not accurate, because it's coming from that personality.
Think. That's the key. Think. I think. Persona. Ego. Use your thoughts to your advantage, not disadvantage. You control your thoughts. Your thoughts doesn't control you.
So imagine that world that we can live in. That means that all the things that we've classified so far as a humanity, the humanity's thoughts, up until today, there will be no right and wrong. We'll be able to see things how they are, and every person will be able to choose what they choose in each life, and just accept every other individual. And that sounds like a space, a world of harmony. Of peace, of love.
Paradise on earth.
Paradise on earth. So, why don't we create that?
We have that capacity.
Exactly.
And that is actually our next video. It will be about there's hope for this world. There's hope.
So
and
either that one, right? There is hope, or you could be expecting a video from us regarding a 4-step shortcut to that next level of embodiment. Okay? So, to really know yourself in that way. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning into What's the Matter Coaching. My name is Oscar. Your name is?
I am that. I am. My name is Crystal.
But we are.
We are.
All right.
Yes.
Take care.
Take care.